Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GV Talk Sports. I'm Brock Elsesser, and I'm here with
Riley McKnight,
Jonathan Rizzo,
Mr. Dutt.
And Mr. Horton.
Boston, talk to us. The Red Sox.
Yep, they were down 5-0 in the third inning, but they came back. Mitch Moreland hit his fourth straight home run, and he's been hitting really well lately.
I think they should trade him for Chris Davis.
Speaking of Chris Davis, he still doesn't have.
He didn't get a hit.
No.
Oh, poor guy. All right, so keep going with Boston. Sorry.
So, Mitch Moreland hit a home run to tie us 5-5 from coming back from doubles and singles. The Blue Jays hit another home run. We're down 6-5. Then we rallied in the bottom of the ninth with a walk-off single from Rafael Devers. Pretty good game.
Cool. Very cool. And we noted that the Genesee Valley Middle School was at that game last night.
Yep.
In Boston. They'd taken a trip to Boston the last couple of days.
Shout out to the middle school. It's a shame that they're poisoning the minds of our children like that. But that's
They
okay.
should be thankful to be there.
Yeah, what a terrible experience. You take them to first off, you take them to Boston, and then you make them go sit at Fenway Park. That's just terrible.
I tell you what, I would love to go to Fenway Park. And I'm a diehard Yankees fan, but I would love to go sit in a game at Fenway. I think that would be so cool.
I've never been.
I've never been there either.
I haven't been by it.
I've gone by it a couple times, and I'd like to go there. I'd like to go see a game. Well, I kind of saw a game at Camden. I didn't pay for it, but I sat outside where you can stand and
Yeah.
almost see the game.
Camden Yards.
Camden Yards is really nice in
I went there,
Baltimore.
too.
Yeah. Cleveland's got a nice stadium.
Yeah.
Been there. So Riley and I started the conversation. What's the best game you have ever seen in person? What's the best game you've ever been to in person? It could be high school, college, pro, whatever. Give you a moment to think about that, and then we'll go. Now, Riley, you've had a chance to think about it, so now you got to
Yeah.
come up with an answer.
Yeah, I already have my answer.
Okay, all right.
So for high school, I think it was probably at Blue Cross when Dan George hit the clutch three to tie the
Oh.
game, and we end up winning.
There's some video that resurfaced on Facebook here
Yeah.
last week of that.
Oh, really?
Every once in
Yep.
a while, about once a month, the Dan George,
Dan George.
3 video resurfaces.
He's the legend that will
So,
live on forever.
That was probably the best high school game I watched for pro sports. Easily, I was at Camden Yards here to talk about it. Red Sox were down in the ninth. David Ortiz comes up, hits a 3-run home run, then get 3 up, 3 down next inning, win the game. That was actually a really crazy game. End up winning 5-3.
There you go. Cool. Have you thought it through, Brock?
not yet. I'll have to have more time to think.
Okay, that's fine. I was at, you always hear people tell the stories about, I was at the game that such and such happened. Well, they weren't even close. They watched on TV like the rest of us. Right? I mean, there's 150,000 people who said they were at the Bills comeback game.
I was not there.
I wasn't there. I was
150.
right, exactly. The stadium only holds 80,000, so go figure it out. And they weren't even sold out because they weren't on TV.
Correct.
I was following it on the radio at my in-laws' house. So I know exactly where I was.
I know where
but
I was. I know where
but
I
I
was,
know
too.
I wasn't at the game. Probably my favorite game, the best game I've ever been to. I've been to a couple of things that were pretty cool. Like I was at Jim Kelly's first football game for the Buffalo Bills. That was just cool. They lost, but it was just cool to be in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
But the Buffalo Sabres versus the Ottawa Senators brawl game.
Oh, no
I was
kidding.
there for that game when everybody and their brother was fighting. Everybody and their brother, the goalies were fighting, and it was an amazing hockey game even without that.
Yeah.
It ended up being 6-5 in a shootout. It was incredible.
What
it was
year
just
was
a
it?
great
That was-
hockey game. Drury was still on the team, so it must have been 06,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep.
And that just was that's the best hockey game I've ever seen in person. So there you go. There's mine.
Best high school game that I remember was, I can't remember the year, to be honest with you. Dustin Kelly was a senior here at GV with Ryan Fontaine. What year were those kids seniors?
05?
Yeah,
05, 06, somewhere in
in there. We were down 1 goal at Cohocton, with 20 seconds left and a direct kick. And Ryan Fontaine hits it from just inside midfield. And Dustin Kelly comes out of nowhere and skips it off his head into the back of the net.
Wow.
I saw Mr. Obahanas jump about 10 feet off the ground. Yeah, and then we went on to win in overtime.
Very cool.
But, yeah, it was because it's one of those things. 20 seconds left in a soccer game,
Right.
and it's over, right?
Right.
You got a direct kick just inside of midfield.
It's never over.
It's
Yeah,
never
we
over.
learned that this
Oh, that was
Yeah, let's
That's
not
all
bring
right.
it up yet. Yeah.
too soon.
Too soon. Exactly.
I can't remember any pro games that nothing fantastic in the pros for me.
Yeah.
I can't think of a high school game in particular, but I was at a college basketball game last year between Syracuse and Clemson, and it was going to be a really important win for Syracuse for them to get into the tournament. And I think the final score was within 2 or 3 points, and Pascal Chukwu from Syracuse had some really clutch blocks and
Okay.
rebounds at the end of the game, because a player from Clemson had a layup to put them in the lead, and Chukwu blocked him like twice in a row, and Syracuse ended up winning the game.
And the
So-
place was going bananas.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
The atmosphere sometimes sells the
Yeah.
game to you. You know how exciting it gets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bonaventure, UMass back in the day. Anytime UMass came to town or Temple came to town, we hate Temple. You know those chants.
Absolutely.
Have you guys ever been to a baseball game where the benches have cleared? I've been to hockey
No.
games where
No.
they've fights have happened, but I've never
Right.
been to a baseball game where
I've
the
never
bench is
been to a
cleared.
baseball game where the bench is cleared.
I've never even seen a pitcher, batter thing in a baseball game.
No, me neither.
Wait,
No, in person.
oh, in person.
In person, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I've never seen one.
I know, I've seen it on TV plenty of times, but I've never
Yeah.
been in person.
Yeah,
to
that's a
see
good point. I've never seen it in person. Johnny, what's your?
For high school, it hurts to say, but it was our last game this year that we lost in sectionals. The atmosphere was just crazy. Like I don't
So
know.
much fun.
I think it's because our fans were sitting right behind us because it was the gym with both sides.
Oh, gotcha.
And our fans were sitting right behind us, so it just was just crazy. I mean, it would have been even better if we would have won, but the atmosphere was.
When you have the fans right behind you, I understand why at big schools they take the timeouts into the middle of the court, don't you?
Yeah.
When the fans
So
are
the
right
coach-
behind you, so the coach can actually talk to you.
We're sitting
Can-
there and coach is yelling, and the players can't even. They're like, huh?
Can't even hear because there's
And
so much going on
We're
behind you.
just in a small gym playing in Class
Yeah.
D, so I can't even imagine a real big school.
Well, and if you're a
Right.
D1, the coach is going to say things to you that not necessarily he wants your mother to hear. That's right behind.
Oh,
the
I'm
bench.
sure he does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ask
and then
Tom. Ask anybody who's
yeah.
played for Izzo.
Yeah, right.
And then pro is I don't know. There's not. I don't have a lot to pick from really, but like probably does a race count? Can that be
Sure, absolutely.
an IndyCar race I went to last
Oh,
year?
that'd be cool.
I don't know. It's just like the speed is just like so impressive. I don't know.
I don't think people realize how fast.
I've
they're
never
actually-
been to a NASCAR race or an IndyCar race.
I've been to Watkins Glen for the Formula Ones.
Watkins
Yeah.
Glen's nowhere near as impressive.
Before this was way back when they still did the Formula Ones there.
Right.
They don't do them anymore. But
What? Where was it? Where'd you go?
Pocono.
Oh, okay. Pocono Raceway was a 2.5 mile track or something, like crazy big. I don't think we understand that either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
for
How
know.
real.
big these tracks are.
It was
Wow.
kind of less exciting though because there was a really 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 bad wreck and the guy broke his back. Like it was like it ended his career. Right there.
Oh, that's not good.
Super long delay and everything, but
so for those that argue that NASCAR is not a sport, let's stick them in a car going 200 miles an hour, 3 inches, or touching the bumper of the dude in front of them,
Yeah.
and see how that plays out.
Well, I can't even imagine how their hearts race. I
some
mean, I
of them
just
they
can't
put
even-
the heart rate trackers on them and you sit and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's for 4 hours. You're going 200 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That's just crazy.
I know.
Man. Now, I have to say, the best college game I ever saw was the reason I ended up playing at Houghton. Was my senior year, I went down for a visit, and they were down 8 with 25 seconds left. Hit a 3, called a timeout, stole the inbounds, hit another 3, called another timeout. Other team misses a free throw, 1-on-1. They come down, and a freshman takes it to the rack, gets fouled, makes it, hits the free throw. Houghton wins by 1.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And again, it was atmosphere, right? So the fans are just going bananas.
You were a senior.
I was a senior in high school,
What year was that?
87.
Gotcha.
It would have been like,
past my prime.
like January, February of '87.
Past my time.
Tom Kirshner, I don't know if you remember his name. He ended up being like the third leading scorer in Houghton history or something, third or fourth. Yeah, so.
Can I just mention
And I said I want to be part of this.
that Tim Tebow is playing in Syracuse right now?
He is.
Yeah, I saw.
He
that.
is.
I was just looking. I don't think they're triple. Do they play the?
They're Triple
the
A.
Bisons?
Yeah, they'll play the Bisons.
They'll
They'll
play
play
the
the Red
Bisons, right?
Wings.
I know.
They'll
It'd
play-
be
He's
cool
in
to go
AAA?
to.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in Triple A.
They moved him up.
Um,
He
he's
had a great spring.
yeah he
He's-
did. He has a lot of power, and you can tell too. He's always, for the most part, he's pretty late on. I think it's just it'll come like he'll get better reaction time with it when he plays more, but. He tends to be late on the ball. Even when he's late, he's driving opposite field home runs. Like, he's got
sure.
power.
Well, he's jacked. I mean,
Yeah.
Look at the guy.
Says
He's
he was
huge.
an all-star for the Binghamton Mets of
Yeah,
Double A.
he made the
Double A last
All-Star.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I was talking to Coach Brott. Our archery team is headed to nationals, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
Louisville,
kudos to
Kentucky.
them. Is that this
Yeah.
week?
No, it's a couple weeks.
Couple
I think
weeks.
it's first or second week of May. And every year they go to a game in Louisville.
Yeah.
The Louisville Bats, right? Is the minor league. They happen to be playing Syracuse.
Oh, no kidding.
I said, dude, you're gonna get to watch Tebow play.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that'll be fun.
When he first got to the AA, I was hoping he would play like up, like for the AA. I was hoping he would play one of the more closer AA teams instead of down south, or maybe it was when he
Like
was
the
in single A.
Nitros or
No, that's no.
If Mets
Thank
wanted
you.
to sell more tickets, they should have just brought him up at the end of the season when they know they weren't in the playoffs.
Yep.
So is it a publicity stunt, or can the kid
No,
actually
I
play
I think
baseball?
I think he's actually
Yeah,
play baseball.
I
but I
think
think
he's
the
legit.
publicity definitely helps
Oh,
his
yeah.
case.
Oh, it doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I think he probably might still be in AA if.
But you do have, there is the reason he ended up not being in football, right? Was the a part of it was the circus that follows him, right? That everybody loves him and everybody wants, or you hate him because he's whatever.
I'll never forget that game. And Johnny, you probably remember this as a Pittsburgh fan. That
Oh,
his pass over the middle.
Over
there
the middle.
when he was playing with the Broncos to beat the Steelers to knock them out of the playoffs. Too soon.
Is it a good thing I'm sitting between you?
Yep.
Yeah. But speaking of the
he
Mets,
played good that game.
speaking of the Mets are in first place.
Yeah.
The Mets are in first place.
They the past few
We're
years,
12 games into the season, and the Mets are still in first place.
Past few years, though, they haven't been a
They have a
terrible
lot of time to
team.
mess it up. A lot of time.
I saw a meme on the first day, opening day, that had Mr. Met, right, the big-headed baseball mascot,
Yeah.
saying, "Have we been eliminated yet?" I mean, that was that was the meme on the first day. But now they're 8-4. They're actually playing better than the Yanks. The Yanks just got swept by Houston. Although
I mean, Houston's good.
nothing embarrassing to be swept by Houston, but still, you'd like to win one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Houston.
look, well, the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays, so they're not in last place by themselves anymore.
Yeah.
But I still stand by. They're going to be fine. Both teams are going to be fine.
But you can't rely on clutch performances every time. You gotta the starting pitching's really gotta pick up.
Right. Well, and that's the big deal. You look at the Rays. What's the big deal? Big difference between the Rays. The Rays have 58 runs scored. Yanks have 61. The Red Sox have 58. The Rays have given up 26 runs. Yanks 49. Red Sox 85.
Yeah.
Pitching. You got pitching, you got a chance. Good pitching.
Can I not to switch over to the?
You can switch over. Go ahead.
to
I'm
the
done.
NBA.
Now
Golden
Brock's
State
involved.
Warriors, they won 57 games this year. Wasn't it just like 2 years ago they won 70 games?
Yeah, 79.
71, or,
Yeah, not 79, but 72
72
or
games?
73.
73. 73 to beat the Bulls record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about how impressive that was.
73.
That's a lot.
73 and 9. That's okay.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucks won 60 this year.
Yeah.
There's not much left. Is there any regular season games left?
No, I'm pretty sure
No,
regular
the last
season's
ones were
over.
last night, right?
Last night
Or
was the last
Wednesday night.
ones.
Starts the playoffs start Saturday maybe
Yeah.
or Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Pretty cool tribute to Dwayne Wade. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
saw that.
I saw
That
the
was-
that was
I saw the
really
last
cool.
game.
because he always did the swap jerseys. Did you see the tribute?
I did.
Yeah, that's cool. It's nice to recognize good guys. You know,
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, you know, guys that played the game the right way, were good guys off the court, on
Yeah.
the court, and you can recognize them, even if they're, you know, whatever. Dwayne felt funny shooting so much, but ends up with a triple-double in his last game. Dirk scores 30 his last game at home. You know, it's cool to kind of just say, hey, that was fun. I'm glad they were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley was hilarious at Dirk's thing. Not gonna lie, but Dirk was crying his last
I
game
know.
Yeah.
when he got introduced.
The last game when the Spurs, I don't know what they did, but the Spurs did something and he started crying. I
So
guess.
he was. I was thinking about this. He's European, right?
Yeah,
Dirk
he's
was?
from
Germany.
Germany. Was he like he had to be one of the first imports, right?
He looked up to Detlef Schrempf
Wow,
you remember Detlef Schrempf?
Yeah, I do.
from Seattle SuperSonics. Was a big time, one of the, probably, I think Detlef was probably the first German
Yeah.
that came in and played at that level.
God, the Seattle SuperSonics, which
Yeah.
don't exist anymore, do they?
No,
Nope.
they are now the Oklahoma City Thunder. But see, Houston ended up in fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you got Houston and Golden State in the second round
Portland
instead
came
of the final.
third.
Portland's third, and
Wow.
the Nuggets are first or second.
The Portland probably lose in the first round though.
Yeah, who they
'Cause
got?
They don't have Nurkic.
They got Oklahoma City.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. The top 8 teams are separated by 9 games total in the West, and in the East, the Bucks are 19 games better than the Pistons.
As much as we pick on the Suns, the Knicks won 2 less games this year, by the way.
That's because Phoenix got to play the Lakers more often. Sorry,
In layoff mode.
in layoff mode. That's right. Oh, too funny.
So who gets the number 1 pick? The Knicks, or most likely the Knicks, or
When's the lottery?
I don't know.
Not sure, but the team with the most losses has the highest percentage of winning the first pick. So.
Right, but it didn't work in hockey.
No, not for the Sabres.
No, they went the worst though. It was it Phoenix or Arizona was worse,
Was it Edmonton?
or Edmonton might have been the lowest.
I think it was Edmonton that year.
But the Devils got it. The Devils got the pick, so that'll be interesting to see. You know, the Sabres fired Phil Housley.
Yeah.
Are they going to get anybody worth? They want McClellan. I don't know if you guys are up on hockey stuff, but they want McClellan, who was actually in San Jose for a little while. Did some really good things in San Jose. So, it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, so I have this is total transition from everything we were talking about, but this is definitely the quote of the day.
Oh, okay. Quote
From-
of the day.
From John Gruden to his new general manager, Mike Mayock.
Don't screw it up.
Don't mess it up, dude, about
Yeah.
the draft. Just don't mess it up, dude. That's what he said to him.
Yikes.
That's the quote of the day.
Does the GM in that situation have a lot of pull?
I guess it depends on the relationship.
I'm thinking specifically of John Gruden. Or is John Gruden saying, you need to get me this guy?
I think that's probably what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay. That was
Yeah.
pretty quick.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. The insight, and that's one of those fascinating things, Draft Day. You
Draft
talk
Day is a
about-
great movie.
Great, you know.
Yeah,
We
that
talk
was a good
about
movie.
what actually goes on and people, the strategies, and, you know, how it's such a
The fights between the coach and the GM,
Yeah.
or the
well, you know, I mean, think about it. The GM has a marketing perspective
sure,
team thing, and the coach he's fighting for his job. He just wants a player that's going to help him win.
right, and he wants to win
He wants to win.
because if he doesn't win, he's going home.
And necessarily the player that will help you win is not necessarily the most marketable player that's going to put people in the seats. And,
Right.
you know, I mean, that's got to be the fight, right?
Right, sure, sure. Right, they didn't draft the quarterback; they drafted the linebacker.
Right.
No matter what.
No matter what.
That only works for the people who have actually seen the Draft Day movie. You've seen it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was, but the linebacker, no matter what.
I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, I just rented it 3 months ago.
Which hence why the Cleveland Browns drafted Johnny Manziel when they had to know that he wasn't going to help them win. But people were going to come to watch him.
It's John Manziel, please.
It's Johnny Manziel.
Did you just say that he wasn't going to help him win? He was a Heisman-winning quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't.
His skills just didn't transport well.
They didn't.
But
you
how did they
can't-
know
Yeah,
that?
you can't expect to know that before the. he
I
actually
mean,
gets
there's
there.
like stuff you can tell a little bit, but like you still take the chance and
I
he's a
know, I was
Heisman winner.
trying to get my boy Johnny or John.
It's John. You need
John.
John,
him
please.
now.
Well, and that's the tough part. A draft. I mean, we rip GMs apart. We rip teams apart for not doing well in the draft. But the draft is hard. You're trying to guess. Just, I mean, some are no-brainers, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you drafted Jordan, you probably were going to be okay.
LeBron.
Right. LeBron was probably going to be a pretty decent.
Say his name.
Zion.
Yeah, Zion. Say his name.
No, that's
Okay.
not a safe bet. That's not a safe bet at all.
Now, I mean, if you look at, looking back, obviously you can always look back. The 2003 draft for the NBA, that was pretty good. I'm going to read these names. LeBron James went number 1. Darko Milicic. Then Carmelo, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Chris Kaman, I don't remember him.
He played
Kirk-
for the Lakers with Kobe.
Yeah, Kirk Heinrich played for a long time.
Yeah, played for.
TJ Ford, Michael Sweetney, Nick Collison, Luke Ridnour. He played for a little bit, but then he. David West,
Come on, you don't want to say that one.
Zarko Kabarkapa. Never heard of him. Dante Jones, Travis Outlaw,
Boris Diaw.
Boris Diaw.
Boris
Oh, I forgot Boris Diaw. Josh Howard, Capono, Luke Walton, who ended up having a great year.
Leandro Barbosa.
Where's Kendrick Perkins? Oh, yeah. Kendrick Perkins, Leon. I mean, that was a great draft.
Luke Walton.
Yeah, let's talk about how Luke Walton and LeBron James were drafted in the same draft class.
Yeah.
And now one,
That
one
is
the
really
coach.
interesting.
Where
They're
did Luke
equal.
Walton go
They're
to college?
Who's that?
Where did Luke Walton go to
They're
college?
both coaches now.
Arizona.
LeBron's
He was a
also
successful
GM
player.
Yeah.
and
He was pretty
owner.
good.
He's also GM. Also drives the bus.
Yeah.
Getting
Steve
his
Blake.
pilot's license, learning to
Steve
fly.
Blake was in that.
Zaza Pachulia.
What? Did you actually say something? Or should I say God bless you?
Zaza Pachulia.
Keith Bogans.
Mo Williams. We got
right
Mo
along for
Williams,
that.
Brock.
Matt
Mo
Bonner.
Williams?
You remember
Matt
Mo
Bonner.
Williams?
Played for the Celtics, right? Didn't Bonner play for the Celtics?
I think so. James Jones, too. Do you remember? You know James Jones?
Dude, crazy.
James Jones.
James Jones. Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver, yeah.
He's still playing.
Yeah, played for the Jazz. Part of the Splash Uncles.
The Splash Uncles.
Along with Joe Ingles and Grayson Allen.
As opposed to the Splash Brothers, right? It's
Yeah.
the Splash Uncles. That's funny.
That is funny.
Grayson Allen hit a nasty step back the other day.
Kyle Korver just wrote a really interesting article. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read it.
I did read it.
Really interesting article about racism.
Time in Utah.
Yeah. Just
About racism?
racism in the NBA. Yeah. And how, as a white player, he has no understanding of what African American players go through every day. And it's very interesting. I recommend it. What was it called? Are you looking for it right now?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's really, really enlightening from a guy who, I mean, some of his best friends are African American players, and he just has no idea what it's like to go through that. So I recommend it if you ever get a chance.
What was
Kyle Korver wrote it.
he specifically mentioned the incident on the end of the bench down there.
Right, with Westbrook
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
That
Utah.
he said he originally blamed Westbrook.
Right.
for-
His original thought was, Russell does. Russell
Yeah.
is what Russell is.
Yeah.
For retaliating and doing some stuff, and then when he got the whole story and saw what happened, it was like,
Which will never happen to him.
Yeah.
It will never happen to Kyle Korver.
no. He could stand on the end of the bench. He could go up into the stands,
Right.
and it wouldn't happen to him.
Right. And
Well, which is amazing because what percentage of NBA players are black?
80.
Yeah.
80?
Around
I was
80,
going to
around
say, it's
80%.
like,
Yeah.
it's amazing that happens when the high, well, and how about NFL players? I mean, I don't
Probably
know what
even
that,
higher percentage.
yeah, might even be
Right.
higher.
Right. It's really interesting from, one of the things he said is he says, I'm teammates with the African American players but I look like the fans that are against them. And so it's just really, it's awkward for him.
What fans are we talking about, though? I mean, like,
He's specifically the Utah
The
fans.
Utah fans who are horrible,
Yeah, he was talking about how horrible
the
the
Utah
Utah fans
fans
are.
oh, okay.
which is interesting considering the whole Mormon culture there, that they
Yeah.
don't play on Sundays and, you know.
That's what I thought, too.
But, yeah. It's just an interesting article. I would recommend it.
That was deep.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Masters.
I was going to the Masters next.
Were you?
I was.
I know these guys will not waste a minute of their time watching the Masters this weekend.
I
probably.
watched some of it already.
Did you?
Good man.
Tiger. This is the first time in a long time since Tiger's been in like,
He's tied for 11th.
yeah.
Yeah, he's 2 under after the first round.
Yeah, and you know it's funny. He does bring a lot of flair to the game. People watch.
Mickelson had his best first round since 2010.
I was going to
the
say,
Masters?
Phil is kind of back a little bit.
Rory
Yeah.
McIlroy didn't do as well as I thought he would either.
No, he struggled right off the tee, right?
Yeah.
Like at first. I did wonder what would it be like? I mean, and obviously he brings a lot of it on himself, but what would it like to be Tiger Woods? You look at that leaderboard.
I know.
The top 20 people. Who's getting followed?
Tiger, the people were yesterday when I was watching on the bus ride home. I had the Masters streaming it. People are 5 and 6 deep.
Yeah,
in
watching
the
him.
gallery behind him.
Watching him. And if, I don't have the standings in front of me of who's at the top of the leaderboard, but if they're going into the third round and they don't have any pressure,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Or that kind of pressure. Tiger has to deal with that every day.
Yeah.
What would it be like to every day people are watching what you're doing and where you're going and
I
who you're
know.
hanging out with and okay, you played a practice round and you shanked one shot. You might not have a better chance of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like every shot.
Every practice putt.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
We're under 2 minutes.
All right.
2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
So we gotta go quick. Final thought is Johnny Manziel shows up at the John Manziel shows up at the Masters, and Tiger Woods finishes top 10 in the Masters this weekend. Autographs a glove and gives it to John, who then auctions it on eBay.
I don't think he. I don't think he would. I really don't think he would.
That's something.
Brock,
Either
save
Ti-
us.
either
Brock,
Tiger-
save us, please. Bring this back.
All right. So I'm gonna say that I'm not a believer in the Denver Nuggets. They're gonna lose in the first round to the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
That's my final thought.
Can I
Go
go
ahead,
quick?
Mr. Dutt.
You want me?
Yeah.
I think the Yanks are going to turn around this weekend, starting tonight. The Yanks are going to start on the roll. They're going to win 15 out of their next 20.
Okay.
Let's see. Raptors and Nuggets in the NBA Finals.
Okay.
It's always fun to watch these guys
yeah,
go back and
no,
forth with their final thoughts. Playing defense on final thoughts.
I think once the Red Sox figure out their starting pitching, they'll be just fine and go back to where they left off from.
All right, Brock, take us home.
Thanks for watching and tuning in to GV Talk Sports. I'm Brock Elsesser, and I'm here with
Riley McKnight.
Jonathan Rizzo.
Sitting next to a Hall of Famer, Mr. Dutt.
Future Hall of Fame. Mr. Orr. Thanks. Big shout out to WRAQ.
Thank you very much.